I spoke yesterday about Robert Jenrick and his manoeuvring, and I think this leaves Kemi Badenoch with a Jenrick problem. It's a sort of Shakespearean issue, albeit with WhatsApp groups and fewer poisoned cakes. But after months in the political wilderness, plagued by internal drift, electoral panic, and an opposition leader who's now comfortably outclassing everyone else in stupidity at the dispatch box, it's interesting to look at the Conservative Party and see maybe Kemi Badenoch has found something resembling momentum. Her attack line on Labour over Rosie Duffield and the Sentencing Council has at last offered her a headline that isn't about missteps, but just as she begins to build some sort of narrative line, enter Robert Jenrick, a man who seems determined to run a leadership campaign from within her own shadow cabinet. Jenrick, this former housing secretary turned immigration hawk, this man who liked removing posters for children, just disconcertingly effective. Somehow he's a person that you remember. His comments about uniting the right have been interpreted, not without reason, as floating a de facto merger between the Conservatives and Reform UK, and a merger in all but name. This is the opportunity for Tory meltdown. Labour and Lib Dems are gleeful. Nigel Farage is appalled. And Badenoch, she's stuck because Jenrick's vision isn't the usual vote-splitting panic talk. He's not suggesting a non-aggression pact a la Lib Dems and Labour. No, he's hinting at standing candidates down, a strategy that screams political desperation and invites the death spiral of brand confusion. The Conservatives are supposed to be the right. If they're outsourcing candidates to Reform UK, voters will start wondering why they shouldn't simply vote Reform and cut out the middleman. And Badenoch's instinct is to project confidence. Her spokesperson insists there's no rift, that the coalition Jenrick wants is merely electoral, not organisational. But this is just semantics. Because if Jenrick is genuinely hinting at policy alignment, then that's a merger of substance. And if he's discussing seat allocations, that's a merger of structure. And if he's coordinating with Reform privately while being in the shadow cabinet publicly, well, that's a problem of loyalty. So what are Badenoch's options? And I think I'm right in saying there was a lunch with Farage as well. So what are her options? She's got three. She can sack him, which makes her look decisive, until Jenrick sets up camp on the back benches, starts doing GB News exclusives from his house, and becomes the darling of the Faragist right, a stalking horse with his own loyal base, and it's only a matter of when she goes and when he steps into her shoes. She can keep him and look weak. That's the second option. It's worse. It allows Jenrick to lead a shadow government from within a shadow government. The party looks disunited and confused and amateur. It can't look much worse than it's looked during the last few months of Kemi Badenoch's tenure. Or she can do something very interesting. She could promote him. And my hunch is this is what she's being advised to do. She could make him deputy leader. It might be counterintuitive. It's Machiavellian, definitely. It deputizes him and then forces him to share ownership of policy and messaging. And if the ship sinks, it's half his fault. If it floats, Badenoch gets to say, I brought him in. It makes his ambition part of her arsenal. And there's precedent. Blair brought Brown close. Cameron hugged Gove until it hurt. And Theresa May arguably failed because she didn't make her rivals complicit enough in her failure. By elevating Jenrick, Badenoch boxes him in politically and rhetorically. She gains plausible deniability if he goes rogue again, and she can reframe her successes as part of her, and she can reframe his successes as part of her broader strategy. She was a fool to appoint him to a minor ministry, to shadow a minor ministry when she should have had him up there with her from the very beginning, because he was clearly a problem. The alternative is a slow public unravelling, and Jenrick keeps hitting media deadlines with slick videos, sharp sound bites, policy initiatives that aren't his brief, and he becomes the story. He becomes the movement, and Kemi becomes the leader who never quite leads. And already some Conservative activists refer to him as the shadow prime minister, and not in jest. Now, let's play this out. Suppose the party dumps Badenoch and picks Jenrick. Is that actually worse for the Conservatives? Possibly. Because Badenoch has her faults. She's brittle in interviews, her judgment is sometimes erratic, but she competes with reform. Jenrick courts reform. Now, that difference is fundamental. The other thing, of course, that Jenrick does that Badenoch doesn't do is he is coherent. He can actually string together a speech. He can talk without notes. He is not desperate at the dispatch box. And because the Conservative Party is something that we sort of know, we know and we've experienced in government, and many people have not experienced them in opposition. This movement towards reform, inviting Farage into the room where decisions are made, that's not just electoral strategy, that's co-governance. And that sets something up for the future. Because it is arguable that Keir Starmer is not doing well enough and could well collapse within the next 4 years. And Farage, to quote one exasperated Tory councillor, is Trump with a better tailor. He's not a unifying force. He's not even a stable force. He's an agent of chaos. To have that agent of chaos in the room, as Hamilton might say. As for Jenrick himself, let's not forget, this is a man who, while banned from driving, dramatically increased the use of government car services to shuttle 5 minutes between his flat and the Home Office. A man who approved a £1 billion planning deal the day before a new levy kicked in for a donor who he just sat next to at a dinner, a populist with a property portfolio, a radicalised centralist, a shapeshifter who used to write essays about one nation conservatism and now leads dog whistle outrage over cartoon murals at detention centres. Robert Jenrick is our version of J.D. Vance, isn't he? The convert with a zeal, with zealous rage. So yes, Jenrick is Badenoch's problem. He's also, I think, one of the biggest problems in the room for everybody. He could be everybody's problem if the party mishandles this, if Badenoch mishandles this. And as the next election approaches, the Conservatives don't need a palace coup. They need discipline. They need clarity. They need a leader who can control her team and not get outflanked by them every other week. Of course, Badenoch is not that leader. But I don't think Jenrick is either. And if Badenoch gets this badly wrong, and I think she's more than likely to do so, Jenrick could be the alternative, which consigns the Conservative Party to the wilderness for the next 20 years. Think of that. Or possibly consigns the Conservative Party to eternal exile, allowing the Lib Dems to take their rightful place in Parliament as the natural opposition to Labour. I'm not sure the Lib Dems have quite got it to be the party of government again. But certainly with Jenrick at the helm and an alliance with Reform, the chances of the chances of government again are very slim. More than that, with Jenrick at the helm and an alliance with Reform and more seats, more MPs going off to Reform, or more MPs going off then to the Lib Dems, the Conservatives would lose their position as the party of opposition. And once that's gone, the chances of becoming a government again are zero. So yes, Jenrick is not just Badenoch's problem, he's everyone's problem. And Kemi Badenoch has one real chance here. Make Jenrick the deputy leader, give him room to thrive on her leash, and ensure that if he rises, I'm sure there's a little rising going on, it's only by lifting her with him. And if she fails to manage that, she won't just lose a rival, she will lose the party. That's my prediction.